Hey guys, welcome back to Knights of the Zoom Table, episode 2. We're here tonight at our late recording hour of 7 o'clock. And today we have a special guest. We have the usual gang with us today. We have ASAP Big, we have Chris O'Donnell, we have Paul Padias, we have Derek, we have Sir Dilliam, and we have Sir Jonathan the Mulaney. And today we are going to be having our guest on today, and the guest today is Sam Maxwell. So everyone give a big hand for Sam Maxwell. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, how's it going?
Pretty good. Happy to be here.
Cool.
So, I say something wrong?
You have completely defended all of us.
All I want to say is this is Sam Maxwell of JIOC Radio. Go check that out too.
Thank you. Put a lot of effort into the show.
So, Sam, we brought you here today. And today's episode is all about tier listings. Allow me to pull up the tier list so I can share it with you guys.
Oh, yummy.
Our first tier list is
that's sick.
Pixar. Oh, there we go.
Star Wars.
We're doing Star Wars first.
Yeah.
Love me some Star Wars.
The highest tier is nice.
Oh, I mean, we could change these if you want.
I think they're all pretty nice.
Yeah,
put it as noise. Noice.
Epic.
Yeah, put epic.
Okay, but they're all pretty epic. For Solo.
Some are not as
all
epic as
epic?
others.
Solo's not epic. Yeah, I got that. But
3 to 4 films in recent memory have been less than epic.
Old takes already from our
Wow.
I don't know.
all right, so how are we gonna attack this in chronological order or like release order?
Attack it as violently as possible.
Chronological order. Let's start with Phantom. Or Solo would be chronologically first.
No,
Let's
it's
right?
go.
Not
Let's
really.
go. Let's go 1
Solo
through
comes
9,
after
and then we
episode
can go
3?
through the spin-off movies. How about?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's go through the main ones, and then we can work through the, what do you call the spin-offs?
Spin-off
Phantom is average. Phantom is average.
Phantom is
Phantom's
pretty
eh.
average, yeah.
I think it's an
I
F
say
movie.
it's F.
Wait, why is average our second highest? Wouldn't average be in the middle?
You're either average or you're epic.
Wouldn't average be the middle?
There's no in
Yeah,
between.
it doesn't make much sense.
Nice.
Average plus.
Average.
Pretty
plus.
nice. Pretty noise.
Nice.
Noise.
Average plus
Noise,
P.
mate, noise.
Pretty noise. I'd
I
say
say
Phantom Menace belongs in the average tier.
I think that's average.
I agree.
All right.
I don't
agree.
mind it.
Hello? Come in.
It has Darth Maul.
Darth
It
Maul's
has
pretty
Darth
cool.
Maul.
Maul's pretty cool.
Not just Darth Maul, but it has Qui-Gon Jinn, who is probably one of the
Absolutely.
best characters. I'm not gonna lie.
He is pretty cool.
I think Maul really, not in this movie, but in the series as a whole, has
Oh, it's canon beautifully.
his
Yeah.
whole arc. Yeah.
Maul was kind of a little baby in this movie. I'm not even going to lie.
He wasn't a baby. He was just kind of a pawn. But that
Imagine getting cut in half by a kid with a rat tail. God.
He rolled up to die.
Wow.
He rolled up to get killed by a Padawan.
I mean,
I don't know. If you get stomped
He
on
didn't
by-
expect that though. Like,
But imagine like you've trained your whole life under one guy, and then you just get stomped on by some kid.
Maul
Well,
was
no,
all
he
about quantity over
See,
quality.
Yeah.
that's why he's in. That's why he's in 2 parts. Yep.
Yep. That's why it was an average movie.
Speaking of quantity, we're moving on to episode 2.
Attack of the Clones.
Crap.
Everyone
Attack-
says Attack of the Clones sucks. This is like my favorite prequel movie.
Oh, hot take.
I know.
I've not
What makes you
watched.
say that?
That's
Tell us
you.
what's up.
Prequel
Well, here's
movies.
why. Let me explain why. All right.
You really just hurt Revenge of the Sith feelings.
Are you
I mean,
down?
Revenge of the Sith is great too. I like Attack of the Clones for the clones. I'm a big war movie guy, and I think the clones are really cool. Plus, they gave us the Clone
Then
Wars.
watch the Clone
so-
Wars. Just watch the Clone Wars.
Okay, well, they weren't
Yeah.
out yet when I was 5.
I think
Chris,
if
okay?
if we were to
Bah
put the
humbug.
Clone Wars on the list, like it's not here, but if we were to put it here, I think it'd go in the pretty nice tier. But as for
Pretty
Attack
nice
of the
to
Clones
epic
itself,
tier.
I put it more like average or even ass. You know.
Well, see, here's what I'm going off of, because I haven't watched any of the prequel movies, but I can go solely off of the poster art, and it looks incredibly boring based solely off of that. So I would put it in trash.
And the poster art tells you actually a lot because it is actually quite trash.
Okay,
It's
here's my
The
the only thing that
movie, I forget.
yes,
We're
there's only
talking
one
about Sam?
reason.
All right.
Yeah,
Good take.
there's only one redeeming quality, and that's the song in it, "Across the Stars," which is the love theme. But like, one song in a whole score is not going to save a movie where the most memorable quote is about sand.
That's
I
true.
don't like sand.
It's a
coarse.
bad
Yeah.
film, but I
Of
still enjoy
course,
it.
it's rough and it gets everywhere.
Gets everywhere.
It was
But not
bad.
just the men, but the women.
George Lucas,
sort
I
of,
don't want
too.
religion in my Star Wars. Moving on.
Ain't no Jesus here.
Gonna
Or
retell the Bible. Get out of here.
Midichlorians.
To the next
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of
That
the
is
Sith.
epic movie, hands
Yeah,
down.
epic. It's the best Star
Yeah.
Wars movie. hands
Yeah,
down.
if we,
Revenge of the Sith is pretty cool.
Oh wow!
Is it
Whoa.
now?
Just
Whoa,
saying,
whoa,
That's a
whoa.
bold take. What makes you put it
No.
an epic over Pretty
Well,
Noise?
Because Revenge of the
I'd
Sith
say
is
pretty
my
nice.
favorite Star Wars movie. I think it's the best one. So
Well, we can't argue with that one, boys. Put it in
I
epic.
I think
Okay.
it's one of the
It is
most
easily the
developed
best prequel.
fight scenes, though.
It is the best
Like,
prequel
It
movie.
has
but
got
it's
the
not
best
Star Wars
lightsaber
movie.
duel in all of Star Wars. I would agree with that.
Have to agree.
I
Just
agree,
because-
but that doesn't make it the best
makes the
movie.
movie to me. Like,
Does not make it the best movie, but it makes it pretty freaking good.
So,
Based
let me
solely
ask
off
you
of
this.
my expert opinion, I would go with I would say it's pretty nice, because I see Darth Vader and that's the funny, scary guy, right?
Funny,
But
scary. He's just
it
a bad guy.
also-
When is he funny?
also
I've
has
never heard Darth
Elfman,
Vader
Not
be
a
funny.
comedian.
It also has Elfman here on the left, and you've got the black guy on the right. So
Who's Elfman?
that's the
Who is?
Yoda.
Yoda.
He's
Yeah, the
sitting
frog
the
on
left,
ketamine.
and you've got the black guy on the right.
wait,
We're
did you
all
call
about
Mace Windu
diversity.
the black guy?
Yeah, we're all about diversity here, right? So it's got everything going
That's
for it.
edited out.
so
It's
if we're going like that and we're saying it was all about diversity,
right.
then wait, where's the other movie?
All right, but here's the thing. Like, Anakin's arc is completed there,
It's true.
Yeah.
which is
So
such
let
a...
me ask you this. As a
Actually,
movie
Darth Vader is
standpoint,
pretty funny in this movie.
can you tell me
No!
between the space battle in the beginning and when Obi-Wan goes to find General Grievous?
Ah, shit, he's right. I can't.
The
remember.
Darth
Exactly.
Plagueis scene? No, it's the Darth Plagueis scene.
That's the whole movie.
That's when Obi-Wan talks to Padme about Anakin going to the dark side and how he's starting to get taken in by his wants. Yeah.
But it's not that memorable. That's like an hour of the movie right
So-
there. So I think it has
The
to
way
Did
be
you
I'm
just say
reading
it's
it,
not-
right? I would say that you
No,
could
that-
put it. You could put it in the epic tier based on the action and the fights and everything like that. And I think I'd have to agree. It
Well,
does seem pretty epic, and it sets up the
The
rest of the
Jedi
series
Council.
really well.
Well, it's the best one in my opinion, so you guys already know my opinion, but we can put it in pretty nice if you want.
No, it stays an epic. It is just a beautiful movie.
I don't like
And
the
it has
colors on the
great music,
poster.
too.
I would put it in
It's
pretty
supposed to look like that. It's artistic. Once you see
nice.
the movie, it makes
What
sense.
the colors are silly though.
No, you're silly. I
Silly
don't wanna hear
colors,
it.
bad movie.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think
I'd
they
have-
were with the
I'd have to
posters
agree
that
with
well,
Henry on
if I'm
this
being
one.
honest.
If you're gonna walk into a movie theater in like the 1940s, right, and you're gonna look at that poster, you're gonna say, "Oh, that's an awesome
Bruh.
movie."
What are you talking about?
It's like 2003, man.
That map, yeah, even.
We had just gone to Iraq when this movie was out, man. It wasn't that long
Dude,
ago.
it's 2003. Oh my god.
Listen, I'm on
Oh,
Henry's
wow.
side
I thought
here.
the prequels were like the
Speaking of
80s
old
out here.
things, let's move on to episode 1 of
Yes.
the main
Episode 4.
You
A
mean
New
episode 4?
I think for nostalgia alone, it's got to be better than average.
It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
pretty. It's a
pretty
great film, especially for the 70s.
Yo, I'm gonna come out with the hottest take of the night.
How hot?
It's kind of
This is so hot. I'm saying episode 4 is just average.
Now,
Damn.
I
Damn.
I can agree. I mean, I can
For
see
the-
where you're
no.
coming from, but
for the
You're-
time.
okay.
For the time, I would put it at pretty. Like if I was in the 70s, I put it in the pretty noise tier. But
The
now,
story is very
I put it
linear,
in the average
and
tier.
it's kind of a I don't know. It's the story's just kind of linear. It's kind of like you expect.
It's a
stuff.
Well,
classic
also,
hero's
but
journey.
you think it's linear, but also that's also due to all the media that we see. So we see that it's been rehashed time and time again in the classic hero. But
That was really the first one to do it.
Just
That was
because
the
it's like
first
a
good
classic
film, yeah.
hero story doesn't mean it's a
Yeah.
bad story. I think it's a very well done hero story.
Well, it's
I
not the
would-
first person to do it well. It's the classic like cowboy like story, but
Yeah.
it's
Space
but they put it
Cowboys.
in space.
I think
Space
it has to be
Cowboys.
pretty noise.
They're just pretty
I-
I'd
nice.
say
would
at
put
least
it-
pretty noise.
Yeah,
I'm not
Right.
gonna
I
say
would
that.
say if there was like an in between tier, I'd put it there.
No.
And it's
Pretty noise.
beautifully scored. It's a beautifully scored movie.
It is. It does
Exactly.
have great
See,
music.
this is one of the weird ones because I've seen Star Wars, but I haven't seen it all the way through in one sitting.
Okay, you could leave now and start watching.
But I
someone
do
who
know
saw
one
it
thing.
too.
I do know one thing. The Star Wars logo looks pretty cool, so I would put it in pretty noise.
He's right. He's right.
Bold,
For your
bold
input,
takes from
Henry. Thank you for your input.
This
Right?
man's trying to
I
build
mean,
a
we
Lego
wouldn't
set
have
with
the
half
logo
the bricks
if
missing.
We didn't have the first one, so
Yeah, I think yeah, pretty
It
nice.
does a good job establishing the world and the universe and all that.
So coming up next, what do we have? Empire
Epic.
Strikes Back.
Empire
Yes.
Strikes Back. That is
Most
one
people's
epic movie.
favorite for some
Epic.
reason.
What do you
For
mean
some
for some
reason.
reason?
I just don't see why it's particularly better than episode 4 or
think-
episode
all
6.
right.
I really like it.
most-
I would say
It
it's
is
the
the
most
best reveal in
action-packed.
film history since
Yes.
That is
in
true.
1980.
That
But
is
it's
true.
not
It
my
is probably one of
favorite.
the best.
My favorite from the original trilogy is Return of the Jedi, but I'll explain later why.
Return of the
So
Jedi is also
let
a
me
good
lay
one.
this out for you. So it starts with one of the most memorable visual battle scenes.
Oh, I love
Star Wars.
Hoth.
Yes.
That's like my favorite battle from
And
Star
that-
Wars.
It
Easily.
starts with that. And then it goes to another very memorable moment, several memorable moments in Cloud City.
Right.
All very iconic. And then ends with one of the most dramatic and shocking reveals in film history. So I think it has to be epic. Like,
Yeah, I agree with
think
Epic.
Derek's made a great case.
I agree.
And you get to meet Yoda.
You do get to meet
And
Ketamine
you
Frog.
meet the
You do
bad
get to meet him.
Yoda. I,
Didn't they also introduce
Little elf
Boba
guy?
in Empire?
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
True.
Boba Fett, the most
kinda, like, putting that
anticlimactic
into the
character.
iconic.
The worst. Well, not gonna lie, Boba Fett only looked cool because he had a jetpack.
Yes.
I think he was only there
Still
to
Boba
sell
Fett.
versions of him at like stores. Like,
He's
they
a
just
fake
put him in a last
Mandalorian.
minute.
Yeah, the Fets aren't real Mandalorians.
Dang. Hot take.
It's not a hot take; it's a real
It's
take.
It's
It's
It's a
canon
true
take.
fact. Canonicity seems to disagree with you, Sam.
Yeah. Are they not the that foundling crap from the show or whatever?
now.
Whoa!
You just call it
Mandalore is
Yeah.
not a people; it is a creed.
Well,
Have you
then
not
how are they
watched the
not real
show?
Mandalorians?
Because they're just dudes with jetpacks that fly around and start killing.
How do you know they didn't put their right hand on the Mandalore Bible and join the
Because we
creed
see
or
them
whatever?
Take their helmet off several times.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
know.
Sure,
Oh,
Not everybody
my
goes to
God.
church on Sunday, all right?
Return of the Jedi is epic.
Return of the
Agreed.
Jedi is pretty epic.
I agree.
Easily great story arc finish.
It's one of
Yeah.
the few times I've seen a film take a story convention directly from another film and have it not be boring. Like, they just reuse the Death Star again, and somehow, like, nobody
Made it
criticizes the film
twice
for
as
that.
I
Interesting.
think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
also have to remember like what was going on like at the time with the whole Star Wars hype train. Like they just turn on
Oh,
the
yeah.
Death Star again, and like everyone eats it up.
What?
They do this
Let's
again?
go.
Yeah.
It's in the budget?
epic.
Oh my god!
That's quite the poster. There's a few things that I noticed right off the bat. Right?
Gamer
You've
girl
got-
right
you've
on the
got
front.
A whole scantily clad woman, right, front row and center, right.
Mhm.
She's in front of
Jesus,
both
Henry.
Space Cowboy Han Solo. I know his name, And the main character guy,
Oh my god.
Luke
The main
Skywalker.
character guy.
Right.
Henry, how many Star Wars films have you seen? How many?
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Jeez.
I do see funny, scary guy right here in the top. But I do see a lot of other people right here in the bottom. And if I've never seen Star Wars before, I don't know who the bear is. I don't know who this other black guy is.
Dude, he's in every
What's all this?
movie.
What's all this?
Henry,
mum-
he's in
what's all
every
this-
single movie.
I don't
Talking
know.
about
who-
the Ewoks.
He's talking about the
bear.
Ewoks.
Oh, the Ewoks. I thought you were talking about Chewbacca.
Chewbacca's
Oh,
a walking
no,
Chewbacca's a
no.
walking serpent. He's not a bear.
The bear?
Oh my
He's assumed
God.
gender? Come
I
on.
can't discern exactly what's going on in the left hand of the screen with all.
I just wanna mention-
It's a
no idea
movie
what's going
poster.
on.
It's not going to give the plot away.
I just want to mention that Henry called Mace Windu the black guy, and for whatever reason,
Was
Lando
it
is
inaccurate?
Lando is the other black guy.
Wait, they do have diversity points for that.
Everybody
if I'm walking
remember.
into a movie here, if I'm walking into a movie theater and I don't even know what Star
Yeah,
Wars
wait till-
is, I see a bear,
How do you-
Not all
I
men.
see a scantily clad woman. I would give this a
Wait till we get to the
solid 8
Last
out of
Jedi.
10.
They have an Asian woman in that one.
Brother.
As the
So-
safety
Oi,
officer here, I'm gonna have to steer us back on
Language.
track.
Here's my bold take.
Dylan
Here's
is
my
the
bold
safety
take.
patrol.
He does bring up a good point.
Yes, that's
The Force
good.
Awakens.
Yeah, whoa.
That is a
Pretty
hot.
Pretty
Wait,
nice.
am I?
hot take.
Hold on.
All right.
And I'll
Okay.
tell you what,
Wow.
and I'll
Which
tell you
Y'all
what.
ready for this?
Hold on.
Which
Hold on.
poster?
A New Hope and The Force Awakens are the same movie. They go in the same
Exactly.
category.
That is not a hot
Exactly.
take.
The
Okay,
exact
no,
same
but
movie.
here's the thing. That is a rehash. That makes it go down in quality.
Now,
No.
Sam,
Not
to answer
necessarily.
your
New Hope is
question
just a
from
rehash of
earlier,
every other
this
hero's story.
Necessarily, because Luke
Sam,
Skywalker
to
has
answer
boobs
your
now.
question, this is
What?
one of the only Star Wars movies that I have watched, and I actually remember what happened, and I thought it was pretty badass. So going off of the movie, I would put it in epic, right? But we're going off of the movie posters here. This is a sick movie
Which poster? Hover your mouse over the poster.
We're talking about The Force Awakens.
Right.
Force
so
Awakens.
this is a badass movie poster. I
It
like the
is.
colors. We've got
It
the
is.
red on the left, the blue on the right, and then we've got this nice orange here in the center, right? We've got the light side and the dark
Henry,
side.
can I ask a question?
What?
Who's the guy on the right?
Dude,
Oh.
that's gotta be Mace Windu, right?
Is that not black guy number 3 to you?
all
I
right.
don't know. I couldn't
Hey.
tell you.
I think for what it was at the time, right, setting up for the series, I think it did a really good job. I'm not
So,
saying
let
it
me-
did an
let me
epic
pitch
job,
you my
but
case
just as
for
good as
pretty-
A New Hope.
On my
JJ
first
should have had all
viewing-
3 films.
Yeah.
Let's hear
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
Derek.
So, The Force Awakens was one of the first Star Wars movies that you remember seeing in theaters for the first time. Correct.
All right, that's
Mhm.
just because we're all old enough to do that,
Okay.
or young enough
I'm not-
to see
I'm
that.
I
That's
watched
fine.
The Phantom Menace 3D, okay?
Yes.
I
did too,
also
but-
did.
Sam, how old
I-
were you? A few months old?
12.
They re-released The Phantom Menace when
Yeah.
we were like,
Really?
When I
yeah.
was like
Before Disney
12.
bought it.
Oh my god.
Disney
what?
bought it and they re-released it in theaters. I went and saw it with my dad in an empty
Yeah.
theater because we were the only ones that cared to see The Phantom Menace.
I mean,
Yeah,
the 3D
exactly.
sucked, but it was awesome seeing it in the theater.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yes, it is almost an identical plot to A New Hope. But also, it is setting up a new series, a new trilogy. Right?
I think it introduces new fans to the series as well.
Exactly. That was the
Yeah,
point
it
of
sets
It
up a
wasn't
whole
to-
nother generation of fans.
Yeah, and then it allows new characters to become prevalent while still using those old characters.
Ray Skywalker.
Wrong movie, buddy.
They
Wrong,
I'll get
wrong
to that
movie.
later.
So this is where our tier list takes a nosedive.
Trash!
All right,
Now, I'm gonna give
hear
it
me out.
I mean,
It is an ass movie. It is not a trash movie.
I thought
be.
that
I
The
agree with
Force
that.
It
Awakens
had
was
no
pretty
mention
trash,
of
but
Sam. It had no
Okay,
mention of
here's the
Sam.
thing. I think none of these movies are ass or trash. I'm gonna be real. I think they're all great movies.
You see,
I was
Except for one.
entertained by
Rian
them.
Johnson,
Except
Rian
for one.
Johnson. That has to
It's just Ryan. What are you talking about? His name's Ryan Johnson.
Rian Johnson.
I don't care.
Doesn't
He
matter. He
does not
butchered.
deserve for his name.
Yeah,
to be
me
Not a real
personally,
fan.
I believe that I believe that The Last Jedi is obviously trash.
Hooah.
It's
I think
beyond bad.
It took what, remember, Force Awakens sets up everything, and then Last Jedi just takes it and throws it away.
Exactly.
That's what puts it in the trash tier for me.
Because it had a different director. If JJ directed all
Abrams,
3 of them, it would be such a
it
good
would be
trilogy.
beautiful.
I think it would
it'd
actually
more
still be
continuous,
garbage.
Yeah. All right.
No,
Here's the
Sam.
reason why I think it's ass. I agree, like that. Whatever. Luke, how would he just force project like that and fight Kylo? But let's be real, the sequel trilogy just kind of throws out a bunch of different lore things
It
at you.
throws out every rule, pretty much.
It does not matter at this point what
hate
happens and what doesn't.
The hyperspace
I mean,
ramming.
Like
It just-
JJ,
Yeah.
Yes,
the
the Holdo maneuver.
Holdo maneuver was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I did
It was
like that.
visually outstanding. I
It was
loved watching
yeah.
it in the theater. However,
Holdo,
it's
not a good person. Really
not a
annoying.
good person. I find it
Let me take my
hilarious
ship and
how
just run it into them and see what happens.
yeah, Holdo
if that was a
scolds.
thing, every other movie would have done it already.
For
Well,
sure.
no, that's a suicide mission though. That's the reason why they didn't.
Well,
want
here's the thing: Holdo scolds Poe for betting the survival of the Resistance on bad odds, and then in the third film, they're like, "Oh, the Holdo maneuver was 1 in a million. We can't do it again." So, if we're going back, Holdo's the jerk in that situation.
Yes.
They
Holdo
just
was a
can't seem
jerk
to
the whole movie.
decide. They can't seem to decide.
Okay,
what
I
they
just
want
want
to
to
do with
say
anything.
for things that were introduced in the new trilogy, it was pretty sick when fucking Ray dropped
Whoa,
her.
language.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh,
Get a
Wait,
load of this
Push
guy.
beyond that.
When Ray dropped her lightsaber behind her and Kylo or Ben Solo at that point catched it, that was pretty
Brandon,
sick.
wrong movie. We're
It
still
was really
talking
cool.
about
The
Last
next
Jedi.
movie.
I know we're talking about, but I'm saying for the new trilogy that was pretty sick. I creamed myself watching that in theaters.
Very visually impressive.
Here's my main
I
thing.
can't.
Speaking of visuals, right?
No,
I like how
sir.
symmetrical the poster
Yes.
is, right?
All right.
I like the white, right? The white
I'd
here
have to
down on the
agree.
bottom and the red, right? It's
not
it's a good
salt.
color, right?
The
I
crate,
can
yeah.
see like the little speed bikes going, and then they're
I
kicking
don't
up the
like-
red there. It was really nice to watch that in the movie because I did watch this movie. I thought it was garbage, but the poster's
Okay.
pretty good.
I didn't
Wow.
enjoy Finn's arc during this story as well.
I thought
he
he
doesn't have
did
an
nothing
arc.
in this movie.
This series did not do its side characters justice.
no.
Oh, bah,
I don't think it did any of the characters
They
justice,
set up
really.
something so good in The Force Awakens where they had him as like this stormtrooper who he doesn't really mess with the whole stormtrooper vibe anymore. And it was such a cool story. They really had it going for him and they set up something beautiful. And then they were so scared to make him gay and just let him go with Poe. That they decided that they had to create a whole other female character for him to go on a little adventure with.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know.
Wow.
All right, here's
Hot
my main
takes all
redeeming
around.
quality. Luke Skywalker's death, I think it was well played. I
Eh.
like the binary sunset. I like that he
100%.
sacrificed
That
his
was
life.
cool.
I was quite confused
I
at
mean,
that.
I will
you
say
have-
that
I
didn't
did
know
You
why
had
he
to watch the
disappeared.
other movies to get it.
I
Yeah.
did
Sorry.
cry in theaters when he killed himself. That was a great movie moment.
That did make
Yeah,
me feel
100%.
something inside.
And I will say that when I left the theater after seeing The Last Jedi, I thought it was a good movie. It was only after watching the other ones and really thinking about it that I realized that it wasn't.
Yeah, as soon as you think about The Last Jedi, you realize actually that like slaughtered the core character of the Star Wars trilogy. They just ruined his character, and now I hate everything.
The movie is made for people who just consume the movie. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, they're
Rather
very
than
surface level
thinking
films.
about
Yeah, everyone's gonna
the
watch the
actual
movie regardless. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Star
why
Wars. How are you
this
not
is
gonna
why I
watch it?
can't get behind the new trilogy. It's that I'm very into Star Wars and also the lore of it. And when you know the lore, and then you watch everything that happens in the the newest 3, it's much harder to enjoy it.
I think they introduce a lot of new topics that sort of take the old lore and just throw it out the window.
Which
Yeah,
I don't
mean, they
like.
had plenty to work with, like
I really didn't like
new
that.
stuff to introduce in movies that we've seen in war, but like they just kind of chose to make their own stuff to just.
They
kinda
limited
confuse people.
themselves. They took the expanded universe and they decided to get rid of it, and then they claimed, "Oh, we didn't have any material to go off of." When they did.
They had what 3 series, 2 series at that point.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
they
it's just-
threw out all the good stuff and just did their own thing.
Speaking of doing your own thing,
And
let's move
the
on.
whole thing with Poe, it just really bothered me.
I
They
felt
introduced Rose.
so bad for Poe. Like
They
the
said-
main three characters are on screen together for like 5 whole minutes through the whole trilogy.
Oh,
They,
yeah.
they said, listen, Poe, you're no longer a renegade stormtrooper. Forget about that plot point. We completely forgot about it in this movie. Instead, you're going to go with this young Asian woman to a casino, and you guys are going to go gamble for a little while. And it will be fun, but you won't have any part in the story at all. Is that okay with you?
Black
Yeah.
man gets arrested for parking violation. This is so sad.
Oh, speaking of young people, can we just go back to Revenge of the Sith? I just want to say that Anakin kills the younglings, and that's one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, the best scene.
Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do?
When he
There's
kills
no
that little,
point.
when he
He
kills that
kills
little
them.
blonde.
Kills them.
I don't like
Kills them all.
the overt need for British people in the prequels.
Neither do I.
Oh, mate, they probably only paid
That's
$5
so much
I-
worse in the sequel trilogy. Nobody has an American accent in the sequel trilogy.
John Boyega is literally doing an American accent as a British man. What?
Yeah.
He's literally faking being
But I
American.
don't understand where that requirement came from. Do stormtroopers have to be American?
I don't know.
No,
no.
the chick. All right, this should be a good segue to Rise of Skywalker. That one chick that they
Yes.
found on that one planet, she had a British accent too.
Yeah, I
See?
noticed
See?
that so much in the sequel trilogy. It seemed
The
like
black
a
chick?
ton
Yeah.
of the actors were European, or I guess it would be.
Benicio
It's
del
like,
Toro.
why
Oh,
is-
and
why
what
is
was
the
up with
British
Benicio
accent
del
being
Toro
forced
in
down
The
my
Last
throat?
Jedi?
Who's that?
Who knows?
Benicio del Toro was a waste of time in The Last Jedi. I'm not gonna lie.
You're gonna
He's
have to
like the
remind me who that
gambling guy.
was.
He's like the gambling guy who they went to go
Oh,
get.
the code breaker guy who doesn't
Yeah.
even do anything in the whole freaking movie.
Oh, that guy.
And then
The
they get the
exposition.
code. The exposition dump that
Literally,
really
that
like,
whole
got flushed
character,
right away.
he existed only to be like, there's two sides to the war and there's no good guys or bad guys. He was there to like preach to the audience.
Well, there are no good guys or bad guys.
Yeah.
It's always the light side and the dark side.
Eh,
All right, speaking of good guys and bad guys, Rise
this is
of
a bad
Skywalker.
movie.
Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker.
It's really easy to see who the bad guy is on the poster, right? You've got the helmet dude, right?
But
He
he's
ain't
not
even the bad guy
helmet.
though. He ain't
The
even the
helmet
bad
dude
guy
is
though.
not the bad guy.
Right,
He's not
but
the
you
bad
don't
guy.
know that. You don't know that. You don't know that when you walk
Nah,
into
nah.
the theaters. And
He
then
gets
you're
to
like,
blow up
is he the
9
bad guy?
planets
I
and
don't
still
know
be a
what's going
Force
on.
ghost.
I
Oh, yes,
really,
of
I
course.
really like the little silhouette thing down on the bottom. I really like the silhouettes because they're fighting, and fighting is cool, right?
They
That's
fight
the
like
takeaway
two
from the whole
guys.
series.
God.
I just like how there's like
How
one,
many lightsaber
2,
battles are in
3,
this trilogy?
4, 5, 6, 7, maybe like 7 people on the blue side.
And then it's just
And then,
Kylo.
like, just helmet
It's
guys.
just him.
Yeah, it's just him.
It
Well, yeah,
gets
I mean,
really
just
hard
Snoke.
to see what's going
He's
on
just
down
such
at
a
the
hunk. He doesn't need anyone else.
And then
Ben
they have the
Solo.
little,
Yeah,
the
I'm
little
thinking
ice
about
cream.
it.
They have the little ice cream cone faced robot. I was kind of confused
Oh,
why
yeah, the
he
Sith
needed to be in
robot.
the movie at all.
Okay, hot take.
Yeah, he's a
It was
merchandise.
average.
Rise of Skywalker is pretty nice, but if you want to put
It
it
is
in
pretty
average,
nice.
that's okay.
Everyone thinks it's
I
a garbage
hate it.
ending to a
I hate it.
trilogy, garbage ending
I
to a
think
series.
given
I
what
think
it
it's amazing.
was, given like what it had, right? It did something okay. You know
It
what I
is
mean?
had to-
visually
it had to-
You
outstanding.
bounced back from The Last Jedi. How do you bounce back from that?
I mean,
I don't
it-
know, but they did it.
It had to fix the ungodly mess that The Last Jedi was, and I respect it for that.
Hot
I
take.
mean,
I would
J.J.
put it in
Abrams
pretty nice.
was literally handed this giant pile of crap that he inherited and turned it into something that actually ended the trilogy pretty well.
Chill, dude.
I think Rise is worse than The Last Jedi.
No.
I think you're wrong.
I know you think I'm wrong, but here's why. Here's why. There's all the
They
lore
killed
reasons.
Chewbacca. I was crying.
He should have stayed dead.
You're just pulling your strings.
This trilogy has no stones. They will not kill Chewbacca for whatever reason because they know they can sell plushies of him. That's why. That's why they won't kill him.
All right, but hear me
You
out.
can't even tell me that you didn't just
All right, look.
smile so big when Chewbacca got his medal.
No, actually, I didn't.
No,
because
you
I
didn't.
walked out. I walked
You
out
know
of the
what?
theater
No.
before that
All right,
happened. I didn't
you
see the
are
ending to this
scum.
movie.
You are scum.
Wow.
All right,
All
listen,
right.
here's why. Here's why.
Rebel
all-
scum.
There's all the lore reasons I talked about before, but at least during The Last Jedi, when I first watched it, I was heavily entertained. I loved The Last Jedi when I first watched it. My first viewing and only viewing of The Rise of Skywalker, I hated every second of it, and I actually walked out of the theater before it was even finished. Because as soon as
Wow.
Ben,
You know, you
as
do
soon
seem
as
like the
as
type
soon
of
as
person to
Ben's
walk out.
corpse evaporated into the ether, I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it
Nuts.
anymore.
Absolutely nuts, Samuel.
The Rise of
Absolutely
the
nuts.
Skywalker, I will say, has a lot more cringe moments than some of the other movies in the series.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, in the
I'll
Battle of
agree with
Exegol,
that.
when the
I'll
one
agree
chick
with
is
that.
like, "How do you know where the tower is?" and then Finn's like, "I've got a feeling."
None of the ships can go up. We need the tower so we can go up.
Hey, my God, my name
On
is
fire
Ray. I
with
just
the-
killed Chewbacca, but not really, because he'll come back later.
I can't sense him with the Force, but I can Skype call Kylo whenever I want.
That's so true. It's still pretty nice, though, because I had a great time watching it.
I don't
really
understand
liked
how
the
it wasn't
trailer.
All right,
entertaining.
I really
gonna
like the
throw it
Battle
in
of
the average
Exegol too.
tier.
I think the
Yeah,
Battle of
all that
Exegol
being said,
was so
pretty
beautiful.
average movie.
No, it is pretty nice. The Battle of
I
Exegol is
agree.
so beautiful.
Yeah,
And then
I mean,
when
it
the
looks
Emperor
cool.
stands
I
up
mean,
and
it's
he
the
just
ultimate
force
underdog.
lightning,
Listen.
he base boosts Force Lightning into existence. No one has ever done that.
If
Ray,
there was a category between pretty nice and average, I'd probably put it there.
Yeah.
not
I mean,
quite
you
crap.
can't tell me that
Pretty average.
the
Yeah.
scene where they have the horses running on the Star Destroyer, that wasn't just incredible.
That was
That was-
amazing. I
I
love
thought
was
that
so
was super
fun.
stupid.
No, I
Sam,
thought that
shut
was
up.
genius.
You walked out of the theater early, like you can't even.
Yeah, I
Sam,
did.
Your
I did.
opinion is now invalidated.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I'm a straight white male.
Oh,
Okay,
Because
that's
he
getting
walked out of
cut.
the
Oh my
theater.
Watch the
god.
movie all the
Oh
way
my
through.
god.
Safety police back. Here we go. You guys need to
politics for
chill.
tonight's
Now,
episode,
Dylan
ladies and
finally
gentlemen. No
says
politics.
something.
Right, while Dylan's dealing with you guys, I want to say I thought the trailer was like 10 out of 10. The movie, I would give it a solid 7.5. Poster, I would give it an 8.5. But the movie,
The poster
wasn't
is
that
pretty
great.
nice.
Would you watch the trailer? And then they had that moment where C-3PO is talking to the guys, and then he's like, "Just want to say goodbye to my friends one more time," and then the music
Oh my
comes
God.
in. That
The
was such a
music for that
sick
trailer was
I
moment.
laughed
insane.
so hard though, because
That
he's
was
like,
the
taking one last
sickest-
look at my friends. You've
And then
known
the
them for
music
all of 5
goes-
minutes.
Oh
Bro,
my
the
goodness!
the trailer made me feel things. I will say that. And
That
then
was-
it was
on the trailer was incredible.
The trailer was
The
dead.
trailer did its job. So that brings us to
Rogue
our
One was
next
pretty good.
movie.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Rogue One was good. Pretty.
I think it's pretty
no,
nice.
Rogue
good category
One
for
was
that one.
I think
epic.
it's pretty
Rogue
I
nice.
thought it
One
was
epic.
absolutely outstanding. I loved
It
Rogue
was an
One.
epic
I think
movie.
it's pretty nice.
I think you're pretty
Eric,
dumb,
you said
Derek.
you
It
had
was
you said
pretty
you had
epic.
problems with it,
It was
and then
epic.
you
It was
couldn't
an
get into
epic,
it. What were
epic,
they?
epic movie.
Okay,
For the
so
most part.
first thing, the story plot, it's good. I mean, Jin's like trying to find her father and everything. There is no character development. Those characters.
It's
are
supposed to be an
very,
It's a
exposition movie.
spin-off.
There's
It's a
not
spin-off.
supposed to
Like,
But
be.
you can still
the
develop
characters are
like they did in
supposed to
Solo.
die.
Wait, what character
can still
development would the
develop-
movie have? They're supposed to be there. They're only there to die.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
it had
they
as
all
much
die.
development as it needed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's very
I'm sorry.
to the point.
For everyone that's watching that
Dinosaurs
hasn't seen Rogue One, yeah, spoiler alert, they all die at the end.
They turn
They
into
don't
charcoal
die,
briquettes.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
robot
they're
got
So
super
rid of
dead.
basically, if you
Rogue One
haven't
at this
seen
point, you
Rogue
don't
One and
want
you've
to.
seen A New Hope, they all die and then A New Hope starts. That's
Yeah,
literally it.
Rogue One is about it's about the people who get the Death Star plans.
Here's the reason why I think it's epic. First off, I think the pilot dude, the old Imperial pilot that goes to the Rebel
Yeah.
side,
He's
I
pretty
really
sick.
like him. I
Yeah.
think he's pretty
He's good.
funny.
Bodhi's good.
I think it makes a case for being epic.
I like
The
the
warp-
Kung Fu Master.
I
Yeah,
think it has
those two
epic
guys.
I just wanna
moments,
say,
but it's
him and then the
overshadowed by
big dude with the
the
big
dull
gun,
moments.
I like them quite a bit.
The
I just-
droid in Rogue One, 10 out
Oh.
of 10, funnier than
K-
R2-D2.
Oh yeah,
K2SO
the
so
K2SO
funny,
is
yeah.
so funny.
RSO, I think his name is
At least
K2SO.
K2SO, something like
he
that.
spoke
K2
English.
is so
He spoke
funny.
English.
He's
I can
hilarious. Yeah.
understand him. But
Yeah,
no,
he didn't go.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know.
Yeah, he was a rich man's CP3O.
It's so weird how it tells you how well they did that character, that when he died, even though he's a robot, there's probably like a billion of him, I felt sad when the robot died, which seems weird.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yeah,
I tend to
And
agree
the
with that.
end battle scene is so beautiful.
The battle
It is
of
so
Scarif
good.
was
The
insane.
battle is such
Battle
a
of Scarif
beautiful
is
scene.
great. I think
Honestly-
the Rebel soldiers look the coolest they've ever looked.
I think if you cut out all the stuff in the beginning with Jyn Erso, and this was like a 30-minute special on Disney Plus, and it was just the battle, and it was
Oh
just
my
the battle,
god!
this would
Shut
be so
up.
good. This
But
would
then
be
there'll be-
amazing.
That's why. I
But
think
there would
it's
be
pretty
no
nice.
rebellion exposition.
Oh, who cares?
It develops the character
Really?
enough for you
That
to
makes
care
it a
about them
great
at least
movie.
a little bit, you know?
If this was an
But
episode of the
I
Clone Wars,
I
or if this
shouldn't
was
have to care about these characters because they're not important
That's why
historically-wise
it's a
to Star Wars.
spin-off. It's not supposed to be part of the 3 trilogies.
But that's
Yeah,
also why
I-
I shouldn't have to care about them because they're not important.
I
They
found
are
that I
important.
did
If
care about
they're
them.
not
They're
important,
crucially
then
important.
just
episode
as
4 through 9
important-
don't matter.
they're
If
they're
this movie
important
doesn't
enough for
happen,
you to
4 through
care
9
about until
does
they
not
die.
matter.
But that's what
Yeah.
that's what their
I-
purpose is.
I cared about the characters a lot. I, in fact, when they had all died at the end, I actually forgot that they were all going to die. I was like, oh no!
It was
I
quite
think it's a
important that they.
perfectly crafted spin-off.
I
I
agree.
Not
think
just
it's a
that, it's a
perfectly crafted
great
poster.
movie
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Now let's
Yeah,
now let's
I
talk
mean,
about
great movie.
now let's talk about a horribly crafted spin-off.
Yeah.
Trash.
Solo is
Wait
ass.
a
Solo, a
second.
Star
Are
Wars
you
story.
kidding me? Wait, I watched
Solo is
Solo
ass.
and I thought it was pretty fun.
Bro,
It was
do not
ass.
have all the
Little
parts
thing.
completely set.
I thought the train scene was super cool, and then it
looked
blew
cool.
up, and it was the sickest shit I'd ever seen.
And you sound
In
like
a Star
5
Wars
years old
movie,
right now.
But like, it was pretty cool.
Yo, what's
And
your
like,
last
The
It was
thing
cool,
with the
and then it blew
characters,
up.
it was so cool.
The
Shut
Imperial
up.
cool.
soldier, the Imperial
No,
soldier
no,
said,
no.
"What, homie, what's your last name?"
Wait.
And you know what he said to him? He
I'll
said,
wait.
I
I'll
don't
wait.
have a last name.
I'll wait until the
Well, your
I'll
name
wait-
is
I'll wait-
Solo.
I'll wait until the children are done talking.
Hey, I'm 18. I'm legal.
Why do you watch a Star Wars movie? Are you gonna watch?
Shut up, Henry.
Are you gonna
Shut
watch
up.
a Star Wars movie
Oh my
because
God.
you wanna
No
see
one
a,
cares,
like,
Henry.
fucking
Speak.
beautifully
Oh.
crafted story.
Henry,
I mean, I guess
Yes.
you literally have no tier list.
If I'm gonna go to the movies and I'm gonna spend like $30
Han
on a
Solo
single
met
on a single box of
Chewbacca in a
popcorn.
dog fighting ring.
He used to eat people. They made it so Chewie used
I
to
wanna
eat
watch-
people.
I want to watch a movie that looks cool and does cool stuff. I don't give a shit about the story. I really hate to break it to you guys. I'm so sorry. I don't care about the story. It looked really cool, and that's why I would put it in average.
I will say,
I don't know.
Carlos Gambino as Lando was one of my favorite things to ever see on the
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
We just
that
call
It was
him
pretty
Donald
nice.
Glover.
What
I
about
think
the
we-
robot? What about the robot that he was banging in that movie? Does nobody want to talk about that?
Whoa. We don't talk about that here.
We did need to.
When
we need
she
a movie
died?
now.
When she died.
I think we
The
made a
poster
great
is
chart.
pretty good.
That is
The
a pretty good.
poster is pretty good.
The
The
poster.
poster looks nice.
It's
It looks like
it's a
only nice looking
dirty,
thing
it's
about
a
It
dirty
sticks
poster.
out like a sore
It
thumb.
looks like
It's
yeah,
a
it's definitely
dirty
different
poster.
from the other
No,
movies.
just because it's a different color scheme doesn't make it bad. It's
Yes,
a dirty
it does not
poster.
sit
It's
well in my
oranges and
stump.
tans
I
and
don't
reds.
like it. Okay, when
There's-
has Han Solo
looks
ever
like
been
sad.
associated with the color
It's
orange?
sad.
If
But he's a
anything, he'd be
dirty
associated
person.
with,
He
like,
comes from the
brown.
First
slums
time
and
for
he
everything.
fights Chewbacca in the mud. He's a
Why
dirty
does he
person.
fight
and
Chewbacca though?
I don't know why he did that.
Because
Alright,
Chewbacca
well,
used
You
to
can't.
eat
You don't even
people.
know, and you've seen it. I didn't even
No,
see
he
this
was in-
movie.
He was in the fucking like the war zone thing. He got thrown into the pit, but I quite liked the poster. I thought the movie itself was pretty okay. I would not regret going to the movies and watching it.
We still have to do the Pixar one.
That's a different week.
It's been like
We've
It's
used
been
a
like
lot of our
45
time.
30 minutes. Yeah.
We've used a lot of our time.
So
Okay, I guess we'll do the Pixar one next time, guys.
Yeah.
Make
What was
sure
that,
you
Derek?
like,
What did you
I
just
think
say?
it's
And
constructive
if you
Alright,
want
the
us
tier
to
list.
do a
Yeah.
certain tier list, make sure to leave it in the comments.
Yeah, we'll do
or
it.
even better, yell at us on our Instagram or Twitter at night.
Okay,
Yes,
anyways,
please.
guys, as you know, I get to do the outro today because you guys all love me. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching tonight's video. We're
Shut
so
up.
happy to have
yeah,
you guys.
no one cares.
Make sure to
Yeah,
subscribe,
Brandon,
make sure to
Brandon,
like. Also, make sure to
Brandon, shut
Brandon,
up,
stop
Brandon.
talking.
Brandon,
make
shut
sure to
up.
comment
Brandon,
down
shut
below.
up. Brandon, shut up.
Yo,
to,
Chris, what are
You
you
do
doing?
right now? If you agree with every single one of my Star Wars movie opinions,
I don't even
guys.
want people to
Your
like the
poster
video,
ratings,
remember?
I'll agree with those.
Yeah, Henry, you have no
Also,
valid
guys,
opinion here.
If you want to,
My
if you want
opinions
the video
are
topic,
pretty
send
sound.
them to our Knights of Zoom accounts. And big shout out to Sam for being our guest this week to help us talk Star Wars.
Yeah,
Check
glad
out
to be here.
JIOC Radio.
Thank you. If you want to be offended, check out my podcast.
Second
Nice.
best podcast out there. The first
Yep,
best is
second
always
best.
yours.
Highest
Thank you.
production quality, but second best.
Nice for the Zoom table.
Thank
About
you.
that one, Chief.
Thank you for coming on the best podcast that Highland Falls has to offer. Thank you for coming on, Sam Maxwell. See you later.